guys, welcome to the first episode of the weekend preview show. I'm delighted to welcome Cian and JP, who are going to preview the games today. How are you doing, guys? You well?
Yeah, great. Happy St.Patrick's Day.
Yeah, happy St. Paddy's Day, everyone, as well. And really looking forward to the weekend. We actually have competitive games to look forward to, which is fantastic. I suppose first up, we've got Drogheda and Waterford, which is actually the first game back as well. And Drogheda obviously coming up as champions. Waterford, a lot of late arrivals in the transfer window, and a lot of people are a bit unsure about them. Drogheda might see this as an opportunity to get 3 points in the opening day. What do you think, Cian?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I can't see past the Drogheda win, funnily enough. I just think Waterford are, like we spoke about the other day, they're very makeshift. They're very, it's a team that's been put together from unproven talent. And look, these players are coming over from England and stuff like that. They're definitely proven over there, and they definitely have something about them. But it's all about men's football now. It's all about trying to stay in the league. I think for Waterford is their main aim this season. But big chance for Drogheda. I think Waterford would probably, if you could handpick a first game at this minute in time, it'd probably be Waterford. Especially if you're trying to get a few points on the board. So I'm going to go for a Drogheda win. I'm looking forward to seeing Drogheda play. I'm actually really going to enjoy this game. Look, I can't wait for the big one, but this game beforehand is going to be good, and I'm looking forward to tuning in for it.
Isn't that scary in itself, JP, for Drogheda, I suppose? Like, as Cian said, you kind of handpicked that game in many ways, but also puts a bit of added pressure on them a little bit, that people are saying, Waterford are makeshift, Waterford are this and that, doesn't it, a little bit?
Yeah, because as a promoted team, you're normally coming up, you're normally the underdogs in the first game of the season. So it makes a wee bit of a shift, really. But I don't think it could be added pressure in terms of the players that have come up with the team. But I don't think you can the players they've signed, like Gary Deegan and Dane Massey, they'll handle that pressure with ease. So they could be key in, like Denny Corcoran as well, who they signed from Bowes. So them players could be key to taking the pressure off the guys that have come up. So in terms of Waterford, we bit shocked in the management. Kevin Sheedy's never managed the senior club before. He's got Mike Newell on there, who we know who's managed Luton Town as far as high as the championship. We bit shocked because I thought that might have been the other way around. Newell being the manager and Sheedy being the number two. But as Cian says, Waterford haven't signed well, in my opinion. They've signed a lot of players from academies in England or lower down the leagues. So I can only see one winner in this game, being Drogheda.
Funnily enough, what could be key for Waterford this season is actually a lot of their youth players again through the ranks and played a lot of football last season. The likes of, Dara Power, O'Keefe, Griffin, and players like that. Even Subawale, I know he was at Harps and that kind of thing. They might be looking for that, but also the two Murphys, like Brian Murphy is very influential there. And a lot could depend on how fit Daryl Murphy can get, because he hasn't kicked the ball for them really, has he, Cian, so far, in all honesty?
No, look, he was a signing. Look, I know we couldn't get people into the grounds, but it's a signing that excites fans. They get an extra 100 and 200 people into the ground. Like, I see these signings coming back, the likes of McPhail, the likes of Damien Duff. These players were coming back. They're not coming back to set the world alight. They're not coming back for anything like that. Like, we've even seen it with the likes of Paddy McCourt and stuff like that. They're coming back, but they're finished. Do you know what I mean? In a way, like, you might get an extra 100 or 200 people into the ground on a match night to see these players play, and I think that's what it's about. To be honest with you, I don't think it's about quality. Like, they're not looking for Daryl Murphy to play every minute of every game and score 20 goals. That's unheard of. I don't think that's going to happen. So I'd be more looking at the other strikers they have over Daryl Murphy, to be honest with you.
I would as well. You're going for a Drogheda win, aren't you, Cian?
Yeah, I'm going to go for the Drogheda win. I feel like, look, it's going to be tight like every game this year, but I think Drogheda will have that little bit of quality that they've added, and on top of the quality they had last year, like they're serious side now when you think of it. Like, so they're definitely a club on the up. I don't think they should be worried about relegation, believe it or not. But if they were to stay up, it'd be a great season for them. Then they can build on it, but they have to start with 3 points. I think it's a must.
JP, you gone for Drogheda as well?
Yeah. I think they've signed a lot of good players there, and they've kept most of their title winning squad from last year as well, and they've added that, which you don't often see with promoted teams. They've signed players from Bowes and Dundalk, and you don't see that very often either with newly promoted teams. So I think they've done really well in the transfer market, and I can only see a Drogheda win here.
I'm going to be the party pooper. I'm going for a draw. The same night, it's Shamrock Rovers and St. Patrick's Athletic. JP is the complete outsider here. So how are you seeing this one? Live on television as well. So how do you see this one?
It's an interesting one. Shamrock Rovers, I think 4 weeks ago, in my opinion, were going to be the runaway leaders. Then they lost McAniff as well as Jack Byrne. I think they could have coped without Jack Byrne if they hadn't lost Aaron McAniff, but I think the loss of McAniff just brings the league a wee bit tighter. In terms of this game, I watched Shamrock Rovers last week, and I think they struggled against 10 men of Dundalk. Now, Dundalk's a relatively new squad put together because for the first time in a long time, they've actually regrouped themselves. And I thought Shamrock Rovers struggled, so it could be a good time for St. Pat's to get Rovers. I just think midfield is going to be key. If whoever wins that battle, I think will win this game. I really can't call a winner in this, but if I had to, I would probably say Shamrock Rovers.
I think Shamrock Rovers went 5-0. He's just been nice. Cian, interesting. No, it's interesting that JP brought up the midfield battle there, because we know the makeup of the St. Patrick's Athletic midfield. We're still a bit funny about the Shamrock Rovers midfield, obviously without, as he mentioned, Jack Byrne and McAniff. They're huge players. I know they've good names in there, like Mandrew, possibly Gary Neal McCann and that, but you do feel that maybe Pats with Lennon, Forrester and Benson have a little bit more chemistry there, possibly at this minute.
Look, it's very hard to say. Look, I haven't seen an awful lot of Shamrock Rovers. I've seen a decent bit of Pats. Look, Benson, Forrester and Lennon is up there with the best in the league in terms of what they do and what they bring to the side. You're looking at Shamrock Rovers, there's strength and depth. Like, they're after getting Bogey on a 3-year contract. They're after. So he's there. He's a mainstay. He's going to play. He is, what a talent he is. I know he didn't show it the other night, but he's a serious talent in this league, and he's one that I like seeing and I like watching. I like having good players around the league, even though they're playing for them. But you have good players. You're looking at Gary O'Neill, who wasn't even playing the other night. Like, what a talent! I think he starts and he's number 8 for every team in the country. Gary O'Neill, what a player! You're looking at McCann, who was okay. I think he looked a bit mouthy, in fairness to him, at the match there the other night. He looked like a little Gary Deegan. But I think he'll be a big asset to them this year. You're looking at the likes of Rowan and Finn, who, like I spoke about a few weeks ago, is going back into the middle because they're not bringing Sean Gannon to sit in the bench. So, Rowan and Finn is going to play in the middle, and their midfield and Pat's midfield is on par. I just think Rovers are better all around the pitch. But like I said, the midfield battle is very good, and it's a game that I'm looking forward to. Last time it came up with memories. Last time we played Rovers, the first day of the season, was 2015, and Danny North scored the winner, and they beat us 1-0 in Tally. So I hope to put that right. But look, I genuinely think Pats do well against the big clubs, like we've seen, and I'm not going to say a Pats win, but I just don't think Pats will lose. I can't see Pats coming out of this game with no points. I just think that they've signed really well in terms of signings and what they brought in this season. I think they've got rid of some players that were, let's say, sitting there taking up a wage, or they got rid of some players that were coming off the bench, and we knew they weren't going to do anything to us. They knew they weren't going to add something to the team. You're taking off, for example, I would say Matty Smith is going to start for us tomorrow or Friday, sorry, and you're taking him off. You might be bringing on the exciting Dara Bones, or you might be bringing off Billy King, and there's strength and depth in key areas. I think for Pats, I just think the overall squad isn't big enough for the season. But I was listening to Stephen this morning, and he says he's a full squad to pick from for tonight or for Friday night's game. So that's definitely good, and I can't see Pats coming out of there without a point at least. And look, it could be very well 3 points with the way Pats have started the pre-season. I think it's the fourth season in a while that I'm a little bit excited. Like, we're always excited for the start of a season, like anyone. Like, but for some reason this season, it just seems like we have a really good group, and it's a shame that none of us can go and watch them and see them in the flesh. But they just, even in training, you're looking at the videos and you're looking at the teammates' videos that they're on the social media and all. There's a real good group there, the lads. And look, I can't see Pat coming out there with no points. So I'm going to say a draw, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes for Pat to win.
I might surprise a few people. I'm going for Pats to nick this one. And you know me, Keane, I'm not necessarily go for the biased results either. Just have a feeling they might pinch this one. Finn Harps and Bohemians on Saturday. Finn Park pitch is going to be in good condition. So does that suit Bohemians? You go for that one, yeah.
I don't think it ever suits anybody except Finn Harps, does it really? But no, it's going to, no matter what time of year you go to Finn Park, it's always a tough venue to go. Even though there's no supporters, the Finn Harps always make it difficult. If you just look at the semi-final of the Cup, or quarter-final of the Cup last year, Shamrock Rovers were 2-0 down and had a battle back to get the win. So I think I have a funny feeling that Finn Harps could nick this one. I just feel that they've kept majority of their squad together, where Bows have had they've lost a few and they've had to replace them, and it could take a wee while could take a few games for them maybe to gel. So I've just got a funny feeling Finn Harps might just nick this one, but at the same time I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw or a Bows win either, but I just have a feeling Harps will win it. Yeah,
Keane, interestingly, Harps have kept pretty much their same back four last season, bar Sam Todd and Boyd, is coming to replace him. But they still have McGinley, they have Russell signed back on, and the two centre-backs, Siddiqui and Webster. That's kind of vital for them, I think, as well, isn't it, going into the season?
Yeah, and Fowling as well, which is a big player for them this last season.
Yeah.
So I think, look, Finn Harps are going to be a good side to beat this year. They're going to be hard. You know what you're going to get with them. We say it all the time, but I just think this year they have that little bit of added quality. It's not just hard work, and it's not just hard to be beaten. I think they definitely have a bit more quality about them, and a bit more. They've just a bit more about them. Like, you'd look at Finn Harps, even Finn Harps at home. It's not them 3 points anymore. It's going to be that hard. They have a bit of something, and look, they always had it with Ollie Horgan, but they've more than that now. I think they've added like quality, the likes of Fowling, the likes of Webster in recent seasons. Look, they haven't brought many players in. Look, I genuinely think Bows are going to win it though. They're used to it. It's just they grind out games, they win games. Like last year, I think they played up there on the Saturday, and I think it was Danny Grant scored a goal early on, and then they just grounded out for the whole game. And look, I think Bows just have that little bit of cuteness about them, and a little bit of bite more than Finn Harps. I think the new signings are going to want to prove people wrong, because look, Georgie Kelly has a lot to live up to. I have to say, I've seen Bows play more than Pats in pre-season this year, and I'm really excited about looking at LOI. He looks a real talent. He looks like one of these players that's just going to give everything for that club, and having him up front, great. Look, I don't personally rate Georgie Kelly after seeing him firsthand last year.
Funnily enough, Keane, he scored all his goals against Finn Harps, which is an interesting point. Maybe coming into this.
I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't rate Georgie. I don't think he done himself justice last year, but he's a been his bonnet now. He wants to start playing, and he's had to get a great opportunity to move up and play for Bowes, considering like he was up there with a few strikers that don't want to be on the list for Pats, So I think him and Martin Rennie were on par last year, but I genuinely think Bowes will win this 1-0. I think it'll be tight anyway, but 1-0, 2-1, it's going to be scrappy. I don't think any team is going to be on top. I don't think any team is going to boss it. I think it's probably going to come down to just a moment of genius or a dead ball, free kick, stuff like that. I can't see Bowes going up there and dictating the whole play, and I can't see Finn Harps doing it either. So it's going to be it's a game to watch. And look, I'm disappointed before we even go. The games are nearly on the same times. Like it's a bit of a killer. Like I'd love a game if it was on a 2, if there was one on a 4, and there was one on a 6 or something. You know what I mean? But I think there's one at 1:45, 2 at 6. Is that right?
According to this, they're both on at 6.
Yeah, 6. But there's a game at 1:45, and then there's 2 on at 6, isn't it?
I think
sorry, I have it here, and allegedly they're all on at 6 o'clock, which is disappointing.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So
that's disappointing. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so it's a shame, if you broke them up. Look, I don't know what the reasoning behind it is, but I'm looking at the Watch LOI and I'm saying 60 games for €59, and yet they're all on the same bleeding time. Like, come on.
Hopefully they can change that the next week, because I don't know what the reason for it is necessarily.
I'll be putting my phone on airplane mode, and I'll be watching the games at 6, and then I'll be watching the one after and the one after, because look, these games are going to be good. But I'm disappointed, like I said, with the timing of the games. But Bowes should have enough quality and enough cuteness to win this game. I think that's what they're good at. They're good at beating teams in hard-fought games.
Yeah, I think they might pinch it 1-0 as well, but it's a tough one to call. One of the other games on the same times at the showgrounds, and that's Sligo and Dundalk, and this one sounds like a really good game as well to open the season. A lot of hope for Sligo going into this season after finishing 4th last season. And Dundalk, a lot of people are a bit 50-50 on them, but they still have a lot of quality, so they're going to be up there. JP, how do you see this one?
It's a tough one to call, really. I watched Dundalk last week, the President's Cup, and I was impressed. For a relatively new group, I was impressed by them. So I think that performance has probably, whoever had any doubt in Dundalk, I think if anybody watched that game, will no longer have any doubt in them. Sligo, again, a relatively new group, because they did get that added bonus of finishing in the European spots. So they've added good players like Colin Horgan, Figueroa, Craig Bulger. They're all seasoned players in the League of Ireland. But if I had to call it, I would say Dundalk. They won it.
I think, interestingly, Cian, we haven't really talked about Sligo's backline too much, because Mahon coming back is a massive plus for them. They obviously have Lewis Banks, and they have McGinty in goal as an excellent goalkeeper as well. So they've got good players in the backline as well, haven't they?
Yeah, look, this is on par with. I'm disappointed that this game isn't at 1:45, and Pats and Rovers game is on after.
Okay.
I'm disappointed it's not on the Friday night, because this would have been a great game to show and watch LOI, for the first game. It's going to be a really, really good game, and it's one that I can't wait to watch. Like, this will be the game that I'm watching live on Saturday. I'm just looking at the quality on both sides. I think Dundalk, I was impressed with how they played and stuff like that. I've seen them play against Bowes. Look, pre-season friendlies, you can't really tell. But I've seen Dundalk play 3 times now live, and I was very impressed, especially when they played Bowes, and Bowes went 1-up, and they came back, and really, really good games. They played really well, and especially the draw of the game. Look, it was a dogfest of a game. They had to dig in deep, and they did. And then they went on. They had to dig in deep again against Shamrock Rovers, and they did. And they arguably, they definitely deserved the win. There's no doubt about it. But I'm looking at the squads in general. For the first day of the season, I'm going to pick Sligo. I fancy Sligo in this game, considering it's in the showgrounds. But definitely Dundalk are going to finish higher than Sligo. But I just think Sligo might pivot on Saturday. But, I think they've added quality, like we're talking about. Like, Greg Bolger, like him alone, like, is going to get you an extra 10 points, 12 points a season. Him alone in the side, like, and what he does in the dressing room. And look, Matten's coming back like a brand new signing. Yeah, look, you have Gary Buckley, who vastly experienced. Look, John Russell is a coach, but he's playing as a player as well. Like, him and Greg Bolger that year, Pats won the league. If anyone can remember, like, my God, them two were just amazing in that side. So, it brings back a lot of memories for myself looking at the two of them playing in the middle. But I think Sligo will nick it. But I could see a couple of goals in this game. I can't say it being a 1-0 win or 0-0. Like, I could see a 2-1, 3-1, even a 3-2 game. It's going to be plenty of goals. Like I said, you can flip a coin and pick a winner out of this. But I think. I'm going to go with a Sligo win, but I think it'll be a high scoring and a fascinating game with the football Sligo play and the football we've seen Dundalk play. The five at the back seems to be walking a tree for them lately, and how Dummigan has just really progressed. Like, this is his season now. Like, he was I think third choice right full at Dundalk, and he ended up taking Darrell Leahy nearly a Massey out of positions at one stage in the side. So, big season for him, and Dundalk look good, but President's Cup game it's a one-off game. It's easy to, this is over the course of 46 games. Can they do it? That's the question. I wouldn't be too mad. Look, everyone and Liam Buckley and all us had a pop at Dundalk, how their setup is, but look, it works for them. It's working for them at the minute. I think the players know who the boss is. We don't know who the boss is personally, but none of us do. But the players definitely know who the boss is, and they're all pulling in the right direction. They wouldn't have all these players, or they wouldn't have all these coaches in if just to make up numbers. Everyone has a certain role. We might know, like I said, what it is, and we might slag it, but players know exactly what it is. And look, if it works for them, the best of luck, and I wish them all the best. But it doesn't look great from the outside, but definitely on the inside, everything is spot on.
JP, you know Junior very well from his time at Derry City. Mixed bag of Sligo, but looks fairly sharp in pre-season with Dundalk. What can he bring to Dundalk for you?
I think he can play anywhere across the front three, left, right, down the middle. He's got good strength, and he links up well with the fullback. He done it superbly well. And he's at Derry on the left. They linked up well with Kieran Call, but he also linked up well with David Parkhouse. I think the two of them scored something like 33, 34 goals between them. I remember one game, Parkhouse, I think, was injured. We were down Dalymount, and Junior led the line that night, and he led it absolutely superbly. He didn't bring the strengths in the air that Parkhouse did that night, but he gave the two centre halves a good game. They knew by the end of that game they were in a tough game. So I think he'll bring a lot of quality. We didn't see it at Sligo, I think, because he had no pre-season. He literally came in. He was thrusted into the limelight. And because he had finished 2019 as the league's top goal scorer, everybody was expecting to hit the ground running. But what people may didn't realise when he was at there, he didn't really hit the ground running till May, June time, and then he kicked on after that. But he'll bring good depth to that front line. And is he going to play in front of Mickey Duffy when he's fit? Probably not. Is he going to play in front of Pat Hoban? Probably not. But what he will do is he'll keep a whole lot of them on their toes.
Yeah, absolutely. What scoreline are you going for, JP?
I'm going to go for a draw. I just think two teams that are getting to know one another. They're getting to know their new players and stuff. And I think this could be the only draw of the weekend, I think.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if young Johnny Kenny, the 17-year-old prodigy, actually starts for Sligo. But I think Dundalk might pinch this one 2-1. On to Longford and Derry City and Keane. Obviously, this is another one on at 6 o'clock, which is frustrating as well for a lot of people. But no, their JP will be watching this one. But interesting game for Longford. Derry would have brought a big crowd to Longford for this one as well, so it would have been a great occasion. But it is what it is. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, it's look, all these games are going to be tight. Longford aren't going to be easy to beat away from home, especially. They've kept the side together as well. You know, they've added players in certain positions that they needed to strengthen in. You know, I think Paddy Kirk is a good player to be signing. You know, I think he was excellent for Bowes, and you know, I kind of fell for him a little bit when I was saying you know, Tyreek coming in, because I didn't think they needed him at all, considering Breslin was fantastic, and when Breslin wasn't playing, Paddy Kirk was fantastic. So big season for Paddy. I'm looking forward to watching him play. It's not going to be a straightforward game. JP won't forgive me for saying this, but I think it's going to be a draw. And to be honest with you, I think both teams will be happy with that. I just think Derry are just finding their feet with a couple of players. Look, we know the players have known the league and stuff like that. It's different though coming into a brand new side, and I think Derry definitely have signed players not only for this season. They're not just one season players. I think these players are at Derry now for a couple of seasons, and I think probably Lafferty will probably finish at Derry. And you know, it's great to see these players coming in, and like what I'm saying is they're not coming in just for this season and they're gone. I think the signings they brought in are to build a club, and look, I would give it 2 to 3 seasons. I know you would see Derry back up where they belong. Like, but in terms of this game, I'm going to go for a draw, and I just think Longford are going to be hard to beat. It's the first game of the season. I think it's when you're a promoted team on the first couple of games, you're trying to get as many points on the board as possible, and you're trying to you're up for every game because you know you have to be. And I think Longford are going to be up for this game. I think they've shown last year that when they have to dig deep and they have to get results, they do. And you know, so every game is a cup final for Longford this year. Every point matters. So I'm going to go for a draw, and I think both teams will be relatively happy with that. I can't see Derry losing now. I really can't.
JP, interestingly, I think both teams might go 3 at the back. Could be wrong, but they might do as well, which might make the midfield battle very interesting there. Derry, it's hard to pick their first choice midfield at the moment, isn't it, in fairness?
Yeah, I think the back line and the goalkeeper picks itself. Looking at the squads in pre-season, Kieran Harkin, who didn't start a lot last year, although he made an appearance in every single game, seems to have been playing a lot in pre-season along with Jack Malone, Will Patchen. So that could be the makeup of the midfield. Joe Thompson as well. He can either sit in front of back four or he can get forward. So there's definitely proper options in midfield for Derry. So it's just interesting to see what Devine is going to go along with. I don't agree with Cian that both teams will be happy with the draw. I think Derry will be disappointed if they don't come away with a win in this game. I never like playing newly promoted teams in the first game of the season because you don't know what you're getting, really, especially when you're a new squad yourself. But we were in the same boat.
Worst time to play them, to be honest with
you. Yeah, we were in the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in the same boat 2 years ago against UCD, but we won that game 3-0. A few years before that, we played Finn Harps, who were boiled by the playoff win against Limerick, and they beat us 2-1. So Longford, I think, came out of absolutely nowhere last year when they qualified for playoffs. Nobody gave them a cat and hell's chance of getting promoted, and they did. And fair play to them. They obviously deserved it. And they'll look to come up now, and they'll want to stamp their authority early doors, and they want to show that last season wasn't a fluke, that they're not just in here to make up the numbers. I think looking at the two squads, I think if we do go man for man, I think Derry will have the better quality. So it'll be interesting to see if they do go 3 at the back, 5 at the back, whatever way you want to play it. I think if it does go that way, I think Derry's going to have a better quality and win the game.
Yeah, because I don't think Derry really have many wingers at the club, JP. Do they? Natural wingers, you would say.
No, they don't. I think that they've got Daniel
Yes,
Lafford, who's probably going to play left wing back. God knows who's going to play right wing back. My hunch is it's going to be Darren Cole. But you've got Danny Lopano there and Ronan Boys, who apparently was the best player in pre-season. Who's just come up from the academy, signed professional contract. We signed Mark Walsh and Will Fitzgerald, who, as far as I know, are wide men. But are they going to play as wide men? That's the thing. Will Derry play 5-2-3 or 5-3-2? It's going to be interesting. But I think there's not a lot of service there, really, in my opinion, for Parkhouse from the width. The service could come from the 2 wing backs rather than the midfield.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. You're going to say go for Derry, I presume.
Yeah, Derry won. Yeah.
I think, yeah, I actually agree with Keenan anyways here, JP. Sorry, I'm going for a draw as well because yeah, I think it's a very difficult time to go and play first a newly promoted team in the division away from home, first game of the season. I think if Pats were at Longford, actually, I'd nearly say draw as well, to be honest. You know that? Yeah, I think they'll beat Rovers, but there you go. It's just strange how football is. Look, guys, enjoyed that. Thanks for coming on. That was brilliant, and we'll see you later. Thanks a million.
Yeah, thank you.